Great group, and boy, as we get into the home stretch, it is so tight.
It's tight.
What's the Dan rather? Tight as a tick on
Tight as a tick.
Texas
He's got so many.
Oh, down.
There should be.
Middle of the road.
Really.
So, Mike, what was the famous Hollywood line that says everything you ever need to know about Hollywood?
Bill Goldman's line.
Or TV
Nobody
news.
knows nothing.
Nobody knows nothing. And
We will.
Steve Kornacki, you look at the polls. Obvious Republican trend after Kavanaugh. Seems to be a slight Democratic trend now, but everything's locked up. If the Republicans have a better turnout operation that swings it by 1 or 2 points, they keep the House. If the Democrats have an adequate turnout operation, they even swings it by maybe 1 point, they take the House. But it is so tight. This could go either way.
The numbers that I'm seeing it's fascinating because in our generic ballot, in our NBC News Wall Street Journal poll, which party do you want to see control it? Democrats have the 7-point advantage, which is what they said they need. Remember, they can't just win that sort of House popular vote. They probably need a pad of a few points. Well, they're getting it in our poll. We also have Trump's approval rating at 46%, which is as good as it's been in one of our polls since he's been president.
Can I ask you about that? That NBC poll, that seems way out of line with the ABC poll that has him at 40 and Gallup at 41.
Well, ABC has him at 44. So if you take the average approval rating of everything out there, it clocked in at 43.9 yesterday.
So he's at 43.9.
Yeah, and there's another one coming out this morning, so we'll see what that says. But I would also say, the New York Times has been doing these individual House districts by House district polls around the country.
By the way, the upshot. I used to make fun of people going to Nate Silver to look at the little meter. Mm-hmm. I go to those polls every 5 minutes because I'm always.
They're addictive, aren't they?
The old politician in me, I'd always tell everybody that worked for me, he said, don't look at the numbers. Look at the trends. All that matter are the trends. And that is, in all those upshot polls, I have noticed a slight Democratic trend over the past 4 or 5 days.
I think it might even be more than slight. Just looking, if I was looking at those polls,
I'm trying to.
Yeah. Well, no, I think I'm having the same reaction as you because if I just looked at those polls, this is the best run of polls. They've been doing this, for more than a month now. It's the best run of polls Democrats have had in these key races. There was one in particular, a Trump district, exurban Illinois, Randy Holcomb, a Republican incumbent, falling 6 points behind in their poll. That's a district Republicans thought they're going to win.
You actually can see it day by day. What's so fascinating about I don't know if you've been following Upshot, and we'll get into all the polls, but if you've been following the Upshot in New York Times, it is a dream for politicians and also for political analysts because you do see trend lines. And you, like, for instance, you see Democrats moving, but there was one exception. Steve King, Iowa won. It was tied up, and then boom, over the weekend, I think a lot of people in Iowa won said, hey, wait a second, we're going to stand beside him. But trend line slightly in the Democrats' favor, but so much just depends on turnout, doesn't it?
Yeah, it all depends on turnout. I mean, look, we've seen some early voting numbers that I'm sure are giving Tom Perez and the folks at the DNC a lot of courage and optimism. We've seen a lot of Democrats coming out. We've seen a lot of young people voting in a way that they usually don't for midterm elections. That said, early voting sometimes cannibalizes the election day vote, and it's hard to tell. But if Democrats come out the way they've come out for early voting, it could be a very good night for Democrats.
But I can tell you this, too. And by the way, Alex just told us that ABC poll, Washington Post poll, is 40 for all voters, 44 for registered. I will say, Mika, on the other side of it, as a former Republican and current conservative, and we've had a lot of conservatives on over the past week saying that they think it's better that Democrats win this year as to provide a check.
Former Republican, consistent conservative.
Well, I'm still, I actually still believe what I believed in 1994, which I know is very unique among people like Mike Pence and others who run up the biggest debts of all time and suddenly are they're protectionists. I could go down the list. They love Vladimir Putin. They don't like NATO so much. Yeah, consistent conservative. It's very boring, but I somehow manage. But I've had a lot of people come up to me that surprise me, that say, hey, I know you've got problems with the direction the country's going, but I'm voting Republican. I'm a Republican. He does crazy things. I'm still voting Republican. I was coming in here, cab driver, immigrant.
Oof.
Why do you give Trump so much trouble?
Oy.
I listen to Rush every day. I'm voting Republican. I said, that is fantastic. How long till we get to 30 Rock? He's a very nice guy. But you know, I think for a lot of us, and I would say for a lot of conservatives like Charlie Sykes and Rick Wilson and, you know, Tom Nichols, a lot of us, we're really actually surprised it's this close because we thought there would be more conservatives who actually cared about what conservatism meant. But apparently they're marching lockstep with Republicans. So this is a lot closer race, and I would tell you, I thought it was going to be. People have chosen Trump over the Republican Party. They've chosen Trump over conservatism, and so we have a personality cult out there that's taken over the Republican Party. We'll see how it goes.
And I do think his war on the facts and the media has been a part of this and has prevailed.
Well, but I guess that's the other thing too. The lying. Lying about the caravan is extraordinary.
It's working.
It's worked. What about the wall? I saw a great article this weekend.
All lies.
A good weekend. He's lying about the wall. Mike, they go up, interview people. Because Trump's saying, hey, what's he saying? I got $5 billion for the wall. We're building the wall. And I'm getting another $5 billion for the wall.
Totally untrue.
And by the way, a complete lie. And then they tell the people, you know he's lying. Oh, it's your word against his. And then they'll say, oh, no, here, look, he's lying. Now they go, well, he's trying. They're being
he was
lied
underestimated
to every day.
Okay, so
and they don't care. They're voting for somebody that they know is a liar.
So you take that, you take all the lies about the wall, building the wall, you take what he has said to further divide the country numerous times.
What about the ghost caravan?
All of it, but package all of that in one bundle, set it to the side, and then think about this.
Yeah.
Imagine what we would be talking about today in terms of the horse race in these various districts and various states, governorships and senatorial seats, if he had stuck to the economy.
Oh, my God.
If he had stuck to the economy.
And that's what I don't understand, because if you're Donald Trump and you have inherited Barack Obama's economy.
Yeah.
By the way, could we just stop right here? Because Peter Baker had some numbers out.
Yeah.
And the economy has grown so much. I want to congratulate President Trump on a couple of things. First of all, for keeping the Obama recovery going. And secondly, pointing out something that Barack Obama would never point out. You know, Barack Obama was always very uncomfortable about talking about how great the economy was. Donald Trump has done it for him. Yeah. And I think President Trump, I think that's very Christ-like of him to tip his hat to Barack Obama because he's talked about how great his economy is and the jobs. Donald Trump, in his first 21 months, created 4,054,000 jobs. President Obama, and I get to say, the Obama recovery is extraordinary. He, in his last 21 months, Mika, created, oh my God, almost 1 million more jobs. I know Donald Trump, it's got a bugging because, you know, he loses to Hillary by almost 3 million votes. And then you're talking about the thing that he's so proud of, jobs. President Obama, almost 1 million more jobs over the final 21 months than he's created his first. If he keeps working hard, maybe he can get close to President Obama's job creation numbers. But that's the other thing, though. If I hear from another one of my friends or relatives, hey, Donald Trump turned the economy around.
Right.
I feel like saying, I really feel like saying, why don't you just tell me that LSU beat Alabama 29-0? Because you're just as wrong there. The economy was turned around, and Barack Obama was creating more jobs in his final 21 months than Trump has. Not that it's a contest, but if you're going to talk about how great the economy is, and that's why Donald Trump's the most spectacular president ever, then why don't you just go back and say everything you said about Barack Obama was wrong?
Well, personally, I think he doesn't talk about the economy because sowing doubt, sowing fear, sowing hatred between people is more effective when you're trying to break down a democracy. But here's what Donald Trump said as to why he doesn't talk about the economy. Take a look.
MSNBC is probably worse than CNN. They tell you he's got the greatest economy. Why is he talking about the border? Well, You can only say so many times that we just created 250,000 jobs last month, right? Now, I could say it over and over and over again, and you'd appreciate it, but once I say 250, and then I say again 250 and again, and I tell you about, I can only go for 4 or 5 minutes with that stuff. And then the crowd says, we love you, and they start dwindling off.
So what he's saying is that racism sells better, and lying about a wall sells better, and making up stories about a caravan sells better, and talking about chicken pox and monkey pox and elephant pox and weasel pox coming to the United States sells better. He's basically saying, he's saying, and we'll see if the voters reward this. I don't think they are. I don't think they are.
Well,
but he's basically saying that people care more about fake stories about marauders in Central America coming to the United States.
It's something we
than
have to confront.
do about their jobs. We'll see. I don't think so.
I think that we're going to have to confront something about this election being more than how bad the Democrats are, and perhaps some about what America looks like right now.
The final.
It's hard to say.
The final several weeks of this campaign has been about racism. I mean, and by the way, it will be written that way in the history books. It has been about racism.
It's hard.
Donald Trump has made up a story about an invasion of brown people coming to the United States, bringing diseases. And at every opportunity, he could talk about tax cuts. He could talk about the economy. He could talk about jobs. He has chosen to attack brown people, to attack the others.
And others
so
have
that's
chosen to go
the
with
decision
him.
he's made. We'll see how people vote. Okay. But why don't we see?
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.